Welcome back to another episode of the Rotten Rewind podcast with Ill Fortune and my co-host,
Enokh Xmortiz.
Damn right. And this is a special episode because this is a Halloween episode.
Ooh.
Yeah, Enokh, what do we got going on today?
All right, so today we are going to go through a couple of things. First, we're going to kick it off with our favorite Halloween movies when we were kids. Not necessarily horror movies, but Halloween children films that we all love.
Yeah, we all got those nostalgic movies that we're just total losers for, right? We're going to get real geeky with it. After that, we're going to go into some Michael Myers talk, but we're not going to talk about necessarily the movies or Michael Myers himself. We're going to talk specifically about the masks. We're going to come up with our top 5 favorite masks, and then we're going to talk about the absolute worst ones across the whole franchise. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yeah, then we're going to be getting into, what's the next one, Enokh?
Ooh, we're going to go through our favorite vampire flicks.
Vampires. I'm more of a wolf guy myself. I'm a wolf man type of dude, I'm not going to lie. But I do have a couple favorites, so.
Yeah. I got some good ones. I don't think people are prepared for it. We'll see.
Yep. And we're also going to be reviewing the new movie, Terrifier 3, in theaters now. At the time of this release, it might not be in theaters anymore. So hopefully you saw it, and hopefully you're ready for what we got to say on the Rotten Rewind. And don't forget, we also have the Kung Fu Vampire interview coming up. So make sure you're ready for that shit.
Let them know. Kung Fu Vampire. That's our brother.
Yeah. With all that being said, let's get into it.
We have a very special guest, the one and only Kung Fu Vampire.
We out here.
Yes, sir. And we are going to pick his brain about horror movies on the Rotten Rewind, episode number 7. So thank you again for having us out, or thank you again for coming out here onto the podcast. You're the second guest that we have had so far. So this is pretty exciting for us. It's new territory. Yeah, so let's get right into it. Enokh.
Who was your first guest?
Gmoski.
Nice.
Yes. So
Yep.
we're starting out pretty strong. Love it.
Huge. That's huge, man. That's the homie.
Yes.
We came and we rattled his brain about Freddy versus Jason. He didn't know what side to pick.
Yeah. Ill Fortune swayed him to the other side.
Yeah.
Freddy, no way. Come on. But yeah, Gmo's the one who told me. He's like, dude, holler at Kung Fu, man. He's definitely the one. I was like, dude, why did that? I was like, yes. So I'm glad that you reciprocated that invitation, brother.
Nice.
All right. First, let's just dive into it, man. My first question is, so what got you into horror?
You know, I'm kind of more into and influenced by the music in horror movies.
The scores, yes.
The scores, the orchestral shit, the Danny Elfman, you know, Ennio Morricone, all the Godfather music, the Edward Scissorhands, the Salem's Lot music, the Stephen King scores, you know, like I was always bigger into the music of it. And what I really liked was Hong Kong vampire movies, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
The music from those 70s and 80s like Hong Kong movies to me was super fire. And so that's why like everything about me is a little bit different when it comes to like the genre that I'm in and how it came about and where my influences lie. Like I always loved the big orchestra music that they use in horror movies. So, you know, that's kind of what got me started in it, you know?
Yeah, see, me too. I'm a huge fan of the scores in movies like Suspiria. I love Goblin's whole, you know, Goblin's always doing those Italian horror movies, but horror just has that sound, you know, and movies don't carry that as much anymore. You know, they lost the score. They need to bring that back into the horror because that is a key factor.
Right. I agree, man. I've been lucky enough to have my music in two pretty prominent horror movies that, you know, I think they cared about the music and the score a little bit more than the average newer style movies, you know?
Oh
And
yeah, what movies?
so the two that you can definitively hear my music in that I got credits for are a movie called Mother's Day, and that was directed by Saw director Darren Lynn Bousman. And then the other movie is called Tales of Halloween, which is that 11-part anthology. It was on Netflix and Prime.
Yes.
It actually was #1 on iTunes when it came out for a long time. So I'm in The Night Billy Raised Hell. My song Turned Up is in like the climax, the real climax of that one, and that was also filmed by Darren Lynn Bousman. So it's cool because I know he loves horror, and he kind of like revamped my love for horror when I met him. He was a fan of my music. I met him in 2002 or 3, so 21 years ago, and he kind of created a little more energy in me to get into horror because he, you know, I started watching all his movies, all the Saw movies, all his musicals, everything he's done. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, there's a lot of newer movies I wouldn't have saw. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's awesome, man. Now, for this Mother's Day, is this the one that came out like 2009? Around
Yes.
that? Yep.
Yeah, 2010 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it came out at 11. Maybe it came out at 11.
Yeah. So I'm gonna rewatch that now. I recently watched it I think like 8 months ago or something. I had seen it on a streaming site because I love the original one from the 80s. So I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch that.
Hell yeah.
Nice. So I've noticed that when it comes to the score for a lot of horror movies, it tends to go with the decade and evolve over time. But you can almost see that, like, say that each decade has its own specific sound. Is there like any one decade that you just prefer over any other, like the 70s or 80s scores?
Yeah, 80s, 100%.
Always. Let's
I
go.
Yeah,
It has to be.
80s is like just ridiculously special, man. You know, I mean, I've just grown to love vintage stuff in general, but like 80s to me is the best vintage era. You know, like 90s is cool. Early 90s still has 80s feel.
Definitely.
Even 1978, 79 has that feel. So I would say like 1978, 77 to like 92, you know?
Yes,
Which is
100% agree.
basically the 80s, you know, from the wild synthesizers, from the analog synthesizers. That's the thing, they're analog. So analog synths, just real acting, less CGI. The CGI they did have was corny, and I loved it. Like,
Yes.
right on the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we're all about here on the Raw and Rewind, is just the love for specifically 80s nostalgia when it comes to horror movies. Yeah.
No.
We just
Well, the thing
love
about
it.
the 80s too, bro, is like if you look at every remake of horror, it's remakes of 80s movies. So that should tell you everything you need to know. Go look at every remake coming out, it's 80s. Every remake they're scared to come out with is 80s because they know it's hard to redo. Try to come out with Time Bandits. Look what happened. I just found out yesterday, 2 days ago, there's a Time Bandits TV show.
I had no
What is
idea.
I just found this out. I was kind of upset. I was like, what the hell is this? There's a Time Bandits TV show that just came out. They were talking about doing Adventures of Baron Munchausen. That's not going to happen. You can't redo that.
No.
They're scared to do Never-Ending Story, but I guess that's happening. Everything, you know, they would never attempt to do a Back to the Future. How are you going to beat that? You know what I mean? So it seems like 80s is where it's at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, solidified a legacy in film. You know, you can't, like, they redoing the Toxic Avenger. You know, and that's a big feat. You know, the original Toxic Avenger to me very close to heart. You know, I love that movie.
Same.
Was
So-
that 80s? Was that 80s?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was like 1990. Maybe I'm way off.
It might have been pushing the cusp. I'm not sure. You
Yeah.
have to fact check that after. We'll figure it out.
I actually don't know that I've even seen it, which is pretty pathetic.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of great classic movies. It's just how I roll. I watch. Thing about me, man, like people get really flabbergasted when I tell them about movies I haven't seen. Right? They go like, "What? How could you have not seen that?" They think it's like crazy. And I mean, I haven't even seen a lot of the classic Adam Sandler movies, which is like people think is just insane, right? I've not seen Waterboy, like I've not seen these movies. But I've never was into commercial stuff. So when those movies were out, I was watching Cold Case Files or Forensic Files. Like I like true crime. So I mean, maybe I'm just a sicko. Maybe I've just like burnt the maybe I've burnt the sensors on myself too much. But I just always, been watching true crime. So everybody's like, "Oh, have you seen the new Penguin?" I'm like, "No, I've been cranking through Cold Case Files. Like I just don't watch the same shit that I'm told to watch." I heard Penguin's amazing. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen none of the new Batmans with Christian Bale. Not one of them. I've not seen one of those, which is crazy, right? So it's kind of like with Toxic Avengers. I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Damn.
but you've seen Evil Dead though, right?
Of course.
All right. That's all that matters.
I had a very close friend / girlfriend who was on the musical. She was starring in the like Broadway musical of Evil Dead.
Love it.
And Army of Darkness, and they kind of, I think it was basically the first movie, the musical.
Yep.
And it was so awesome. So yeah, I've seen all three of those. Obviously, I don't know if it's other people, but personally, I saw Army of Darkness first twice before I even saw any of the Evil Deads. But then I went back and watched everything, and then I watched Ash vs. Evil. I don't think I've finished it, but I've gotten close.
Yes, they canceled it too soon.
Well, how many seasons?
3.
Yeah,
It was really good, dude. I don't know. I thought it was really good.
Stars, you guys dropped the ball on that one. I'm mad. Hail Fortune, yeah. I think it's your run, or is it mine?
Yeah, no, I think I asked
yours?
something about the decades. Go ahead, man.
Okay, yeah. All right, what's your first horror movie memory as a kid growing up? What was the first one that stuck with you?
Very easy, man. Was original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
That was forced on me. That was forced on me by my friends.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, so I lived in an apartment that was pretty bad. We had a run up until 4th grade. We lived in a really bad apartment complex, almost like a projects. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty much like that. It was like a circle. Everybody's apartments faced each other kind of thing. And there was a lot of people picking on people and tying people up in houses and like real brutal shit going on. But my close ass friend who I loved, him and his family were watching inappropriate movies hella young. And so we watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre when we was like maybe 7, 6. And they forced me to watch that. And I remember that was brutal for that age. Like that was, whoa. Like you might not think it is, but damn, for 7 years old, 6 years old.
Oh yeah, 100%. Makes you not want to go out into the country.
Oh, we watched it at like 2 a.m. too on a sleepboat. So that was my first one. And then the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Nice. Was that a better experience?
I loved that movie, but that was even scarier. I mean, that's a scarier movie.
Oh,
I think,
especially as a kid, yeah, because you have to go to sleep. You can choose not to go to Texas.
Right. I think I think Nightmare on Elm Street was really genuinely frightening for a kid, and I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre was shocking.
Perfectly.
Just,
yes.
Wow. Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, I really loved those movies, and I still do to this day. I think they've held up well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually just went last night and watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street in theaters. They're having it around in theaters right now for the anniversary.
Is it 40 years or 50 or 30? What is it?
It's got to be something like that.
I think it's 40.
Yeah.
40 years, right?
Yeah, 40.
What would that be?
84.
Then it came out in the 84. Okay. God dang.
Yeah.
Hey, when I think about stuff like that, I think about when I was a kid and Back to the Future came out, and you think about the 50s, right?
Yep.
You watch Back to the Future, say it's like 1990, you're watching Back to the Future, and they're depicting the 50s, and you go, oh my God, that was a lifetime ago. It's later now than when that movie came out compared to the 50s, so that's hard to
comprehend.
Think about that.
Yeah.
2024 compared to when Back to the Future came out is longer than the 50s was, than what they depicted, or like around
the distance between them. Yep.
It's crazy how our perception of time just changes as we grow older, and it just I think about that type of shit all the time. It's just blows your mind. On the topic of slashers though, I did want to know, who would you say is your top slasher, your favorite one of all?
Give me the top 8 slashers.
Let's go. Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Chucky, Ghostface, Leatherface, Candyman, and who else would you throw on there? Enokh.
What about is he a slasher, the dude from Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah, I'd count him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely more than that even, but those are like probably the main ones that people know about.
So I'm not a super like crazy horror movie guy, but at the same time, I'm enough of a horror movie guy that I have them in different categories of like why they're dope. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a ranking system.
Jason's out. And Jason's out because there's no personality behind that mask. So that's just out, right? I always thought that was out. Just walking and somehow always catches you, right? That kind of thing. Michael Myers is a little cooler than Jason to me. There's some personality there, and I like the backstory, but again, hard to really feel the personality behind him. I'm gonna go with, Chucky's the funniest. Jeepers Creepers is the coolest, and I think Freddy is all around the best one.
Yeah, Freddy. I got this dope ass kung fu shirt right
Oh
here.
shit, you got it on. Nah,
Hell yeah.
how did I not even notice, bro?
Let's
That's
go.
crazy.
Oh, I scooped this up at the gathering just this last year. I saw this shit. I was like, I gotta have that. Freddy's one of my favorites next to Leatherface. So
We've been I never was a type to repress stuff. We press something and it's gone. And that
Yeah.
Freddy shirt was the first thing I've ever repressed, and I think I've repressed it 9 times.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
It's
so there's
tight.
over like 1,200 of those or 1,000 of those, and we've given some away to like our friends and family because they love Freddy so much. But I don't know. There's a lot of them, dude. I don't know. And it's still not enough. We have
Still
enough
not enough.
right now because people love that shirt. And then I have a Salem's Lot shirt
Oh.
that I love. That's the same vein, right? It's an 80s throwback with me as the vampire from Salem's Lot.
Whoa.
nice.
And that one is restocked. So we just restocked the Gremlins one as well.
You didn't have that at the gathering, did you?
I think I did. Like we may have, yeah.
Maybe
But-
honestly, I didn't think I seen it when I was coming to the booth.
The reason why I like doing these neon throwback collections, this one I created, is because I take such pride in having like all original music, style, my name, my look, my beats, my lyrics. Everything I do is very original. And this gives me a chance to pay homage and have fun with, something that people can relate to, right? I could only put my face and name on so many things to where people are like, okay, cool. But you put something like Freddy Krueger in me, people are like, man, I don't even like Kung Fu Vampire or know who that is, but I like this shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of been my inspiration behind this neon throwback collection.
Yeah. See, I utilize that same thing like with that Evil Dead shirt that I threw you. You know?
I have one. Yeah, I wore it to the gym a couple times already.
Yeah. So, I 100% understand that. It's all to make a shirt or make merch that people see and then they just go, "Oh, I want that," without even knowing who you are. That's the end goal. You know what I'm saying? You got people repping and rocking and then discovering who you are just through that.
Right.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
some people, the one person that mentioned your shirt, didn't realize it wasn't an Evil Dead shirt.
Yeah.
They just thought it was an Evil Dead shirt. So
Hell yeah. All right. Well, let's. All right. I gotta ask this one. What's your top 3 vampire movies?
oh man, so Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
Well, I did not expect that. I love it. I love it.
Blade is
Yeah.
number 2. Like
Let's
there's
go.
no order, right? So Blade, Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, and for a third, I gotta say Dusk Till Dawn, man.
Classic. Got
Those
to.
3. And then
Well,
then I've got like a whole list of ones that are right under there, from Salem's Lot to Fright Night. Okay, Fright Night, Salem's Lot, Let the Right Ones In.
Love
it.
What about?
Actually, I really liked that one with Jamie that came out a year or 2 ago. With how am I drawing a blank? Daywalk?
Oh yeah, was it Wesley Snipes in there too? Daywalkers.
I thought it was Jamie Foxx he's a vampire slayer. It's kind
Oh,
of
the
fun.
new one that just came out on Netflix.
Yeah, like a year or two ago.
Day Shift.
Day shifts
Mm.
in now. Day shifts in my top 10 now already.
All right, well, piggybacking off that question, all right? Have you seen the movie Near Dark?
I don't know.
Ah,
I don't. I may have and not realize. Is it a vampire movie?
yes, it is. It's about
Damn,
a
I might have-
caravan of vampires in an RV. It came out right alongside Lost Boys.
I haven't seen it. Do I need to see it?
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. All right, Ale.
So, on the topic of that, there's a lot of legendary vampire slayers out there. You know, you got Van Helsing, you mentioned Blade, you got the Frog Brothers, Buffy, even Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows. If you had to pick one legendary vampire slayer to be slain by, who would you pick?
The Frog Brothers, of course. I think that would be funny. Yeah.
You gotta go with the
Let's
Frog
go.
Brothers.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good question. That's a funny question.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. I did not expect that. When you mentioned Blade in your top 3, I was like, oh, I wonder if you're gonna pick Blade for that. No, that's
Yeah,
cool.
well, Blade is a vampire slayer. Same with Jamie Foxx in that movie. So, right? Isn't Jamie a yeah, they both are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great to know. Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows, that new show?
Nah, I need to. Everybody tells me to watch it. I did watch the original. I watched the original movie. I did see that. So I
Okay.
think they're pretty similar, right? Isn't that kind of based off of the movie?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't seen the movie myself, but I've heard
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
it
I
was
wanna
weird
see
to
it.
get into. The first season, I was like, I don't know if I can get into this humor. But then once you kind of feel the vibe of the show and the tone of it, then you can settle into it and enjoy it. It's kind of weird though at
I mean,
first.
I did try to watch it, and I couldn't get into it. But I felt like it was me, not the show. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, this wasn't what I was expecting. I'll check it out later. you
And it
know?
Yeah.
does get better. I'll say that.
I do that
Okay.
all the time. All the
It's
time.
in my
I'm like,
queue.
"Yeah."
It's in my saved stuff. I got it ready.
Hell yeah. All right, Enokh, what you got?
Let's see. I know you had mentioned Day Shift, but is there any recent movies like this year that have caught your eye that you enjoyed?
Ooh. Okay, so I watched these late, but I watched them all earlier this year. Was the Jordan Peele movies?
Oh, all right.
All 3 of them. I didn't see any of them till this year.
Well, out of those 3, which one do you like the most?
Okay, you know what? You have to remind me what it's called. It's the one where the mom was the villain the whole time, the Upside Down World.
No, it's why can't I think of it? Us.
Us is my favorite, man. That was hard. That one went hard.
Yeah, that had
The
a
family,
whole
the-
layer
the-
to it.
The other family that's just like them, and then it turns out that the mom is, yeah, that was. So the mom went into the fake family, faked them out. Yeah, that movie, bro. The twist, the acting. I just love Jordan Peele, bro. Like, he just killed it in those.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't expect him to go into horror. After Key and Peele and the comedy, and then he just came out with the horror, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I was really surprised. He does it very well.
I mean, he's really funny, and he's a really good director and producer, so he wins. The Alien one was and then the first one with the house party and they're hunting him down, that was great. But the Alien one was kind of
Yeah, Nope. Yeah, Nope is definitely
still a good movie, but
Yeah.
not good. I was like,
no.
oh man.
Get Out. Yeah, Get Out is definitely above No. Get Out, and his first one, I thought that was really good.
Definite.
So I want to bring it back a little bit on the Rotten Rewind. I want to rewind a little bit. You had mentioned Hong Kong vampire movies. Can you recommend us a good, solid Hong Kong vampire movie for like people that have never even experienced that genre before? What's the first one they should watch?
Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, bro. That's the one.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know that it's necessarily the greatest quality for some people. It's hard because it's late 70s, early 80s, but I would recommend that one. And then anything with any of those Hammer films, right? Any of those Hammer films that crossed over with Peter Cushing, and other dude who's even bigger, Christopher Lee.
Vincent. Oh, Christopher Lee.
Oh
yeah.
no, Vincent Price.
Yep.
Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I believe. Don't quote me if anybody's watching this that's a horror nerd. I believe all three of those have been in a Hammer film. There's one of them that might not have been, but I'm pretty sure Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, and Christopher Lee have been in all three. All three of them have been in those, and those guys are gods of horror. And so those Hong Kong horror Hammer films, man, amazing.
Awesome. And I don't think anybody's going to care about the quality of it. I mean, we all love those crap quality 70s, 80s horror style movies, you know. Some of them look like they're shot straight to video. I'm okay with that type of shit.
Oh, yeah. I am a huge fan of foreign films, especially early foreign films, from like the old gangster movies to the horror. And I love those old like kung fu versus like dead things that the real popular during that.
Yeah. I think that Mr. Vampire, which is like a really cheesy kung fu vampire movie, that's a good one. But I mean, they're just really silly, man.
Is that where you derive the name from?
No, so I found out about the kung fu vampire kind of semi subgenre after we had the name.
Oh, yeah.
Kung fu vampire name and concept sparked from absolute originality. And then later on, we were like, oh, there's actually Kung Fu Vampire films, too. I mean, you know, it's not a technical, like, subgenre, but you could kind of create...
Yeah, definitely.
You know? But, yeah, we didn't know about it till afterwards. And then we actually reached out to this one movie that was kind of cheesy. I believe it was a Swedish film. Again, don't quote me. Kung Fu Vampire Killers. They came out with that movie after we had already got the trademark and stuff, and reached out and were like, hey man, like that's our name, you know, you really can't use it. And then I looked into it and it was so low budget. I was gonna try and like say, hey, let's re-release it with my music and this, that, and the other, but the movie wasn't good. So it was like, it was a missed opportunity for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn. That's really
I
interesting.
am leaving out a few other names of some of those Kung Fu Vampire type films, but I think if you're gonna watch one, just watch Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
There you go. I'm definitely gonna check it out because I've never seen a single Hong Kong type.
Yes, everybody at home, go and check out that movie. Let us know what you think.
It's silly, it's sexy, it's funny, it's slow at times. Like it's good though.
I used to like watching some of those Hong Kong kung fu movies that were dubbed to be like spoofs. I think Kung Pao was one. You guys
Kung
ever
Pao
seen?
was genius.
Oh, it's so funny.
Absolutely genius. I thought that movie, I mean, I couldn't believe how funny it was, how well done it was. Everything about that, the effects were so advanced. Oh,
I went into that, my buddy was showing it to me when we were younger, and I thought it was like a serious movie. I just watched it and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And I had no idea it was supposed to be hilarious, you know? But yeah, that shit was great.
I owned it on DVD, bro. Like, I don't own hardly any DVDs anymore. I had like 800 of them. I sold them all back in the day, and I kept favorites. And I maybe kept 30, and that's one of them.
Oh, that breaks my heart, though. We both have extensive DVD collections.
Yeah, we do.
I had so much stuff, but I actually got it they're right behind me.
He's got a stash.
Yeah, they're stashed. I did keep all the bangers though, like those Kung Fu Vampire movies. I have all those.
Nice. Oh yeah.
God, I should bust them out one of these days, man, and check them all out, or like take a picture of them for the social media. But kept The Godfather, Back to the Future, the 80s movies.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite movies of all time is called Nothing But Trouble, for anybody who doesn't know. That movie, that came out in 1990. Or 91, around there. It's a very 80s, it's an 80s movie, for sure. But that had Tupac, Digital Underground, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, the big guy, what was the big guy who died young? Super fun, John Candy.
Oh, yo.
It had Demi Moore. It had the famous, one of the famous brothers, that the guy who shot an actor on set recently a few years ago. I'm just trying to play Baldwin. It had a Baldwin.
Yep, Alec Baldwin.
Nothing But Trouble, dude. That's like a serious banger to me.
I've actually never seen that movie, so I've written it down and I'm going to check it out.
You need to get on that, bro. Tonight before bed, you need to watch Nothing But Trouble.
I will.
You can find that on one of the streaming sites. Cool. You should be able to rent it on iTunes as a last resort. You know what I mean? Or Apple movies, whatever. But that's a quirky movie. It's not quite a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. It's like a quirky 80s adventure comedy, dark comedy, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
I love all types of 80s movies. It really doesn't even matter. Like The Labyrinth, when you said dark fantasy type stuff, that's what I think of. Even The Labyrinth is kind of
100%.
creepy.
Labyrinth is a weird ass movie, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those weird movies to me are where my head's at. Like, I love those, you know?
Yeah, the abstract. I love it
Right.
when they push the creativity. You know what I'm saying? They're pushing what they can do, especially with the puppeteers and the animatronics, and there's practical effects. We love that stuff.
Dark Crystal was pretty crazy. The Wizard of Oz Part 2, Return to Oz or whatever, it was crazy.
Have you seen Mad God?
Nope.
Check
Oh,
that out.
That
Mad
was so
God?
weird.
It is a stop motion film. The guy who did the special effects for Jurassic Park and Star Wars and all these huge movies spent like 20 plus years making this movie stop motion in like his basement or something. And it finally got released last year, and it's a masterpiece. It's insane.
Damn, okay. After we do this, send me a list of things, because
That I will.
I'm interested in some weird, quirky 80s, 90s movies.
Yes, I will.
Hell yeah. Good shit. Yeah, you got anything else, Enokh? Is that it for you?
Oh yeah, yep. Short and sweet. Didn't want to keep it too long.
Appreciate it, man. It was great. Thank you for having me too, man. Like, you already know I fuck with you guys heavy, so.
No, we
Hell
love
yeah.
you, brother.
Yeah, for real, much love. We really
Appreciate you.
appreciate you coming on here. Yeah. Second
And
guest
you,
ever.
and you popped up in the Love documentary, the Gathering documentary.
Yo,
right?
I seen that. Yeah, you got me
Yeah, we
doing.
made sure to edit
I'm
that
like-
in there too. When my guy was editing, I was like, make sure they stay in there. You know what I mean?
Yes, we love that. Me and Cartoon seen that. We're like, oh hell yeah. Our
Yeah.
fans are hitting us up like, yo, did you see? I'm like, see what? You're like, Kung Fu put you in there. I was like, yes.
And just so
Yeah.
you know, I like all three of your guys' names, man. You guys got great names.
Oh hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the originality, you know.
We had a cello player in the band for the beginning of Kung Fu for many years, from basically inception until 2010, and I named her Miss Fortune. So she
Oh,
was Miss
shit.
Fortune, and that was kind of cool. Very play on words, Kung Fu Vampire, right? And that actually might end up being one of my album names in the future.
That's awesome. That's what I call my wife, because Fortune is my real last name. So I call her Miss Fortune, even though she's technically Mrs. Fortune, I guess. But
Yeah, Ms. No, she's Ms. Fortune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortune.
Oh, yeah,
Ms.
yeah.
Fortune. Yeah, Ms. Because you got three options there. You got what? MS, MRS, and MISS, right? So
yeah. Okay. Hell
Ms.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a cool play on it. I got to see your show at the Gathering this year, by the way. It was my first time seeing you live. That shit was
Fucking
fucking
loved it,
incredible.
bro.
I like
Thanks,
all
man.
the fire and the fucking just like the whole stage performance in general was fucking amazing, engaging as hell. So
Thank you, man. Shout out to my dude Adam Nuke and Kung Fu Vampires. Basically, my right hand man, Action Paxton.
Yes.
Drummer, engineer, and then he produced 8 tracks on the last album. So
Oh,
he's
what?
really heavily
Damn.
involved in Kung Fu Vampire.
Yes.
And then on the previous album was the first time, even though he had been kind of co-producing and recording all the time, he wasn't until Come Dawn. He had never produced prior to that for me, but he did 1986 and Madonna, 2 of my top 10 favorite songs of mine. And then on the new album, he produced 8 of the 13 tracks. So
Yeah.
shout out to
He
Action
is-
Paxton, man.
He is a
artist.
solid dude. When we're on that spot on your tour, man, I was in there kicking it with him and talking with him. Solid guy and incredible on those drums. Oh my.
Yeah.
Holy
He's
hell.
multifaceted, bro, from engineering to producing to lighting, drumming. He's great.
Yes, he
Hell
is.
yeah.
I gave him a slice of pizza.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad you, Ill Fortune, I'm glad you got to see the set, man. I mean, it was completely different from the previous year on main stage. We also had fire, but it just was a different feel, and it's been nice to kind of switch it up, you know?
It was real
Yeah.
cool because you were so late at night. You know, last year we were on main stage. the sun wasn't all the way down and the fire, you know, but
It didn't work until the end of our set. It was dark. It took till the very end. It went from like dusk till dark. But yeah, being dark, you get more of our light show and the fire and stuff.
it was insane.
Yeah, we apparently I was told that we had the biggest second stage crowd of the whole gathering, which was felt really good to know that. They were like, dude, it packed out for you, and that always feels good, man. I just hope that everyone who sees our gathering shows, understands how important it is to come when we tour, because it's so much work to get from city to city. Like, they gotta come out and support us or we can't do it anymore. So
exactly.
hit up KungFuVampire.com. Make sure, you know, for people listening, people who see this, come to our show, because when we headline a show, we do over an hour. You get a free VIP experience. We're gonna play crazy songs. We do our own lighting. We bring our own lights. It's a, you know, whole different thing.
I can vouch. It is a show. It is not just, you know, he puts on a whole performance, and it is beautiful.
Thanks, Darren.
Yep. Straight up. Now, before we cap this off, is there any upcoming projects you want to give a quick shout out to, or anything you want to mention?
Shout out my dude Buckshot, bro. We got a new Double Dragon project we're writing for right now. Double Dragon Part 2. And yeah, we're working on that Double Dragon now, and we got some great merch and great songs and things brewing for that. And that's my main focus for right now. I'm going to be doing some shows in November 14th through 16th in Wyoming, Idaho, and Salt Lake City. And then some other pop-up dates. This has been a big year for me. I'm at show 56 or something crazy.
Damn.
I did that tour with Tech, then my headlining tour at a bunch of festivals, and the float and all this stuff. So I'm trying to do a few more before the year ends and get to 60 for the year.
Well, yes, bro. You got it, dog. Push it.
Hardworking man right there. Damn.
I got a lot of work to do, man. I'm hungry like I just started, so.
All right, well, let's dive into our favorite Halloween children films. What do you got first?
Oh man, there is so many to choose from. You know, when I was a kid, I looked forward to Disney Channel Halloween more than anything else for one specific movie. And I think a lot of us 90s kids and early 2000s kids can get behind this one. Halloween Town. Come on now.
That's on my list.
That's like the top tier Halloween kids movie. I don't think anything really beats that one. I mean, it's just from the whole vibe of the movie to it's just so much to love about it. And you can actually visit Halloween Town in Oregon. My brother's been there.
Yeah, they dress it up every year, which is amazing. One day I will get there. I'll get there.
They have the pumpkin and everything.
Dude, I love that movie. I love everything about that movie. Ever since I was a kid. 1, 2, 3's okay. 4's all right.
The later ones are meh, but the first two are solid.
Ooh, the first two, man. You cannot beat that. Like, all the characters. That's what I loved as a kid, you know? They had that practical creature features, and I loved it. I loved every aspect of those movies.
Yeah, you know, I've actually watched them so many times that I've almost lost the magic. And I'm hoping that one day when I have kids of my own that I can share that movie with them, and somehow maybe that magic will come back. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not there yet, but
yeah, my son loves it. My son is a huge fan of Halloween Town.
Yeah,
he's definitely
that's got to be one of the best things, man, as a dad, getting to share your love of movies with your kid. And I can imagine it's like re-experiencing them almost all over
again. It
It
is, you know. But my son, he's like, Dad, let's watch Freddy Krueger. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, not necessarily the first or the second one. You know, we kind of skip past those because those are a little bit more, you know. But we'll definitely watch 3. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm going to be just showing my whole collection to them. But I hear what you're saying. You got to kind of gauge their maturity level. But at the same time, I was seeing those when I was, like, hella young, too. So, like...
Yeah, exactly. Look at us.
Yeah, we turned out just fine. Yeah, we're fucking great. Yeah.
Now, see, rolling off of that, what you said about the Disney Channel movies, I have one on here. I don't know if you have it. Don't Look Under the Bed.
No, I don't have that one on here, but I remember that one. That one scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, that was
Horrifying.
like the number one terrifying boogeyman type of fucking. I don't remember
Yes.
much about that movie, but I remember it scared me to my core.
Demons under the bed, and the main actor, I forget who it was, but just his build, the sharp edged teeth and just these crazy eyes. Yeah, it definitely terrified a lot of people, and I don't even know if it even has an official release, if it ever came out on DVD or anything like that. I don't know. I tried to watch it this year, and the only way I could watch it was through an actual TV rip, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But yeah, that's definitely one of those. I'm sure you're gonna say Hocus Pocus, right?
I left that one off of here because that is a lot of people's go-to. I have some surprising ones on here, I think. Coming off of that one, a lot of people. Okay, so this one, some of you may have caught it and some of you may have missed it. And if you caught it, you're gonna be all like, "Oh my god, I remember that movie." Scary Godmother. Do you remember Scary
The
Godmother?
cartoon.
Yeah, the
I
animated.
got it on DVD.
Hell yeah, I got the second one. I don't have the first one yet. But that was a great one, and that was a little bit later, I think, like maybe 2004, 2005, something around there. I'd have to
Yeah,
look. But
there was a little bit of a time gap when they're really pushing for that more animation instead of the live action. But yeah, that's a great one, dude. That is a good one.
yeah, for that one had great music in it and just overall, just vibes. Like the animation was pretty terrible, but it was still, you could feel the Halloween spirit when you watch that one. There's certain movies that just really push it, you know?
And see, one that has that spirit for me is Monster Squad.
There you go. I almost put that on here.
Love Monster Squad, man. Wolfman got nards.
You want to hear some sad?
Oh,
I completely missed that movie as a kid. I never saw it as a child. I saw it for the first time a few years ago as an adult in my 20s. Yeah,
you loved it, huh?
I loved it. Yeah, I was like, where the hell was this? Like, because I had a
Yeah.
lot of good people around me growing up that were showing me the right types of movies. But for some reason, no one ever brought Monster Squad out. No one mentioned it. I didn't even know it existed until fucking a few years ago. I
Yeah,
was
Monster Squad. Ooh, top of the line, dude. That is pinnacle.
Yeah, I had a Halloween party a couple weeks ago, and I played that one on our projector out in the backyard, followed by Halloween. So, yeah,
Yes.
great
fuck
movie.
yeah.
Another one, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now, there's two. There's the one where they meet Frankenstein and one where they meet the Wolfman. So I kind of group them as one and the same because both of those are really good around Halloween time. You ever check those out?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
I love those ones. Yeah, a little bit more, I wouldn't say even underground, but no one really talks about those ones as much. I loved those ones too.
Yeah, no, they had a slight popularity there for a second, you know, because it was like a reboot to Alvin and the Chipmunks in a way, you know, and those movies kind of like made it for the 90s kids, you know.
Yeah, because those were later on too, right? Those were, exactly. But they definitely made you feel like a 90s kid again when you watch them, you know, because it's Alvin and the Chipmunks. I mean, come on. So on the heels of that, what do you got?
I got Little Monsters.
Oh shit, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, Little Monster. Who pissed in my apple juice? As a kid, that was the funniest thing. I loved Little Monsters, you know. That big dude with the hunch over back and breaking, dude. So good.
That was another one that I missed growing up, and my stepdad showed it to me later on when I was like teenager, and I was like, where was this fucking movie? It's weird how some of those movies just, they miss you like that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean the cast for that too is just incredible. You know, everything about that movie is so cool. When he goes into their world, the set design, the lighting, it's all around. It's a great film that lasts the test of time.
Yeah, that one came on the other day on Tubi when I was just letting shit play, and I was like, oh man, Little Monsters, I gotta sit and rewatch this year. Anyways, after that, I got Monster House, man. And again, that's a little bit later, mid-2000s, but that was a fucking phenomenal movie. Holy shit. I watch it every year. I can't get enough of it. That's one of my favorites.
Get off my yard.
I love John Heater's, the pizza guy. He's like playing the fucking arcade game. Yeah, it's a fucking skull.
Yeah, I fucking love those movies, man. Like Paranorman. Also goes in with that. I fucking love those, man. I wish they do more of them. Yes, Coraline. Those films all kind of grouped together, you know. Next on mine is one that I don't know if you've seen it. Most of you guys at home have probably never seen this movie. The DVD to even own the movie is like $200. So that's the only way to get it because they ain't playing it anymore. It's called The Haunting Hour.
Oh, the R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour, right?
No.
It's not R.L. Stein?
Not
I
that.
thought that was R.L. Stein.
No, there is. The Haunting Hour by R.L. Steins is what he did after Goosebumps, yes. But the Haunting Hour, the movie from 1984 or something like that. Yeah, it's about his town. It gets overran by monsters. Or maybe it's zombies. Kind of having a hard time remembering. Maybe I should have researched a little bit more. But as a kid, my mom had a copy of it on VHS. I used to watch it all the time. It's like a Halloween party movie in the light of Night of the Demons. But not as gory and scary, you know. But yeah, it's an amazing film. If you guys have the opportunity to watch it, check it out. You probably stream it online somewhere.
Interesting. I'm going to check that one out too because I did not know that was a thing. But yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a kid's movie necessarily, you know. It could be PG-13, it could be R. But
all right, well, I got one
great.
for you. And this is one that I have to rewatch. I need to look for it and rewatch it. And somebody just brought this up to me recently. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that fucking movie, dude. This is a really good one. It's another Disney movie, I believe. And it's called Under Wraps.
Ooh,
You remember
let's
that
go.
one?
Yeah, of course, dude. The Mummy, let's go.
I remember that one from a kid, and I remember it being one of those just really good Halloween movies, and I haven't seen it in like 15 years, maybe.
Yeah, that's
longer.
another one of them that is so expensive on DVD. They might have done a reprint, but I know that for a while there, it was a pricey one to own.
Yeah, for real. So that's a rewatch one right there. What else you got?
I think that's pretty much it on my end.
Okay, that was pretty much all I had too, but I want to give a shout out to one extra movie that isn't necessarily a kid's Halloween movie, but it's a newer one, and I guess it's fun for the whole family, and that would be Hubie Halloween. How do you feel about that movie? Have you seen it yet?
I love Adam Sandler.
Same, I do too.
So I don't care, man. People hate on Adam Sandler, and
I know, I don't get it. He's
my
funny. We grew
my
up
local
with him.
newspaper in Kalamazoo Gazette decided to write an article talking smack on my boy Adam Sandler. So I called the editor.
You're like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Why would they do that though?
I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh hell no.
That's not pocket.
Pissed.
Hell.
Yeah, no. I'm a 90s kid, man. You leave Adam Sandler alone.
Yeah, I've heard everybody talk shit about him, but and they talk shit about this movie too. A lot of people don't seem to like Hubie Halloween. I absolutely loved it. I love the goofiness of it, the campiness.
I just watched it with my son like 5 days ago.
It is good, and it has funny moments. It's corny, but it is still really good, and it again has so much Halloween just magic going on throughout it. You can feel the fall energy. Like
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, bro.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go watch Hubie Halloween. It should be on Netflix or something. All right, time for a fun little segment where we rank the legendary Michael Myers masks. We will go over our top 5 favorites, followed by just the worst ones in the franchise. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's like at least 13 main masks if you count them by movie, but then each movie has additional masks, you know, that they made for each one. So there's a lot. We're not going to go over every single one, but with that being said, Enokh, you want to start it?
All right, we want to start with the best, right? Let's go with the best, okay? I'm gonna have to go with the OG. I think that set the standard. You know what I'm saying? You can't rank the masks and not have the original as number one. It just doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah. That is number one on my list too. Of course, that it should be number one for everybody. Hey, you want to know something before we go on? Because I have rewatched all the Myers movies. Well, I'm almost through them all this October. I have been doing one every day. I just got done with Resurrection, got halfway through 2018, and then fell asleep. So I got to finish that one today. But anyways, I realized something, that the scariness and effectiveness of Michael Myers' mask fully depends on how they light the mask. 100%. I noticed that because even some of the worst masks in the franchise looked good in specific scenes when the lighting was just right. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't show him in bright light for one. You just can't do that because it's gonna make the mask just not be scary. You got to show it shadowed, maybe even that cross shadow across one side of the face where you can just barely see it.
Yeah, it's got to add that depth to it.
Yeah,
100%.
In the first movie, the scene where he's talking on the phone, or like he like holds up the phone, and Laurie is talking on the other end. That's like the one scene I think where you can see his full mask without being covered in shadows. That's like the fullest picture. And in that scene, it almost kind of has a goofy look to it. It's
Yeah.
still scary, but it is a little goofy looking, and that's because they fully lit the mask up. So I kept that in mind when I went through my list. Just wanted to preface it with that. So, but yeah, I agree. Number 1 is 1978.
What you got for number 2?
Oh man, I got to give it to the Halloween Kills flashback mask. And I know that's kind of meta because it's not like a main mask, but in the whole franchise, I want to see that mask done more because that was my fucking favorite. I almost liked it more than the first one.
Yeah, the flashback when they're upstairs.
Yep. When they go back in Halloween Kills, yeah. That's my number 2. What about you?
That is a good. My number 2 is Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Rob Zombies. I love that matted, under the floorboard, dusted, rotten look. I mean, it's just menacing. It's way more, if we're ranking on like just scary, I think that number 1 for sure. But that's definitely number 2.
Yeah, Rob Zombie's mask has a lot of grit to it. So I like Rob Zombie's mask in the start of the movie when it's still fresh white, but I don't like the distressed looks on the Michael Myers mask, and that goes for all of them. You like the distressed
I like
look?
that. It's like this like zombified, like it's been through some things and just a lot more relentless. Like if I looked at the regular mask or any of the other masks compared to that, like coming at me, yeah, the Rob Zombies is gonna be the more freaky, like, yo, what the fuck?
It works for that movie because the type of Myers he portrayed, it works very well. He's a big guy, the matted hair, the very homeless-esque vibe to him,
Love it, yeah.
It definitely works for that one. I definitely wouldn't say it's one of the worst. It's in the middle of my list. It's not in my top 5, but it's in the middle.
Not in the top 5, oh my God. All right, what you got next then, huh? What's number 3 for you?
I really fought with this one, man. You got to really understand that I fought with this one, and I went over pictures of just reference images for like 40 minutes. And I think Halloween Curse of Michael Myers has one of the best masks. And I don't even think that I was going to come to that conclusion. I really didn't, because that's not one of my favorite Myers movies. It is actually one of my least favorite. But something about the way the mask works in certain settings works really good. Of course, there's the scenes where they overly light the mask and you can see all the features. And I think even in that setting, it still holds up against other masks that would have failed in that scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like the ultimate test for me. If you fully light the mask up and it still holds up a little bit, then you got a good mask. But there's some of them that when they're fully lit up, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Fair enough. See, 6 is kind of in the middle for me. Number 3, I'm gonna go the 2018. Yeah,
that's my number 4.
Yeah, that's my number 3. I like that one a lot. I think it's right up there with the original. You know what I'm saying? It has that same style, just a little bit more aged. But I like it. I think it fits the face well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like the look of that mask a lot. The distressed thing takes points off of it for me. You know me, if it was a little cleaner white, it would work better. But for that movie, it doesn't work. Obviously, it's 40 years in the future. But
yeah,
my only beef with that mask, other than the distressed look, is it looks like it fits a little tight, which also makes sense because latex shrinks over the span of 40 years. So it wouldn't be as big as it was in the first movie. Because there's a noticeable size difference around the neck.
It has more definition on that cheekbone.
Yeah, exactly. And it fits his neck a lot tighter in this one, whereas in the first one, he had some room. He could stick both of his fucking hands up in there and hide some snacks if he wanted to. Hide an extra knife or something. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to kick off for it. I'm going to go Halloween Kills.
Yeah?
Right after that. Yep, I like that one. It's piggybacking right off of that 2008 one, just a little bit more
2018
fucked up. Yeah, 2018, yeah. A little bit more fucked up. I just like that look.
Yeah, I have a hard time distinguishing between 2018 kills and ends, because the only real difference is the mask gets more burned in each one, and it's slightly more yellow.
Matting, like white matting stuff going on in kills.
Yeah, and so
Not a big fan of that.
yeah, and I like the kills.
I mean, not kills, ends.
Yeah, and it gets like yellowy, and it gets worse and shit.
Don't like ends, like kills.
Okay, so 5. I'm kind of torn between this one, man, because I was looking at stills between Halloween Resurrection, H2O, and just Halloween Kills in general, because I love that movie, but I'm kind of grouping Kills in 2018 as the same one. So between H2O and Resurrection, that's what it's between for me for number 5. And again, each mask looks better in certain scenes, and with H2O, there was 4 different masks, and each one looked slightly different, you know? So it's really hard to say H2O because some of them looked terrible, especially the CGI one, obviously. But there was like 1 or 2 of them that looked really good, and the way they used them looked really good. Same with Resurrection, same thing. But if I had to say, I'd have to give it to H2O for number 5.
Yeah, I like H2O when he's looking through the window.
Yeah.
The circle window of the door, or when he gets kicked off the balcony, you know. Yeah, 100%. Resurrection, I actually have that on one of my worst.
Really?
Really, I don't like that the over definition of the lines in his face, yo.
I agree.
That's weird.
Yeah, and that's what I mean is like certain scenes it works, and then most of the scenes, I would say more of the scenes it doesn't work. So that's why Resurrection, it was hard for me to really even say. I mean, yeah. Before we go over the worst ones, just really quick recap. You want to go over your top 5?
Yeah, okay. Top 5 recap. I have the original Rob Zombie 1, 2018 Halloween Kills. I didn't even get to my 5th. My 5th favorite one is Rob Zombie Part 2.
Whoa, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and a lot of people probably didn't. I like that it's mad, like half a mask, battle torn. I like it.
Oh, I hate that you can see his eye. Oh, I fucking hate that. Ugh, it just takes me out of it. Okay, so that's your top 5. My top 5 recapped the original 1978 mask, followed by the Halloween Kills flashback mask. Then we're going to go with Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, followed by Halloween 2018, and then H2O for my 5th one. And that 5th one, next year or even next week, maybe I'm going to change my mind about that 5th one and be like, you know what, the H2O mask has some problems with it, but I don't know. I might. We'll see. Things are always changing. All right, so the worst ones. What do you got for the worst ones? Let's just hear them right off the bat.
You want me to list them all?
How many you got? Like 4? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 that I put down.
Let's hear them.
All right, Part 4. Part 4, right off the rip, Part 4. What the fuck was that? That shit is weird, yo.
That's the worst one.
Way too big, face way too circular. Now, see, I don't think that's the worst. I think the worst of the fucking worst is Part 5, where he looks Asian and his face is so prolonged. It don't make any sense, yo. Part 5 is horrendous.
You don't know where Part 5 came from? That is the face for Part 5 is Greg Nicotero.
The original dude from the first?
Special effects guy, Greg Nicotero.
Oh, from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's his face. Yeah, I just found that out a couple days ago. I was like,
why would they do that? That doesn't even make sense.
I think he was just the one doing it, and they didn't have any other busts, so they were just trying something fresh. But yeah, it didn't work.
Horrible.
Not good. So yeah, I would say 4 and 5. 4 has got to be the worst one, followed by 5.
See, and I'm vice versa. I think 5's the worst one.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's just ridiculous, yo.
Okay, 5 kind of looks creepy, though. In my opinion, 5 looks a little bit creepy. It looks so off, but it's uncanny still, you know?
4 looks like a doll, right? Like,
like a Ken doll.
5 looks like Mr. Miyagi or something, you know? And it takes me out of it every time because I laugh.
The eyes, it's the fucking eyes.
Dude, and I'm like, he looks like an old man. And I'm
the
like,
neck too. The neck stretches
what
way
is
too far.
going on? That's ridiculous.
I can't do it. Anyways.
Yeah, I already said Resurrection was in my list. That's one. Part 6, I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
And then the last one on my list, people probably won't see coming. Or they might, Halloween 2. Halloween 2. Okay, they switched actors, but they kept the same mask. So the mask was older, and the actor who they had wearing it in the second one, his head was way too big, way too wide. So Michael Myers' head, the whole movie, is so fat and round.
And the nose too. The nose looks like round also.
Don't make any sense, yo.
Apparently, Deborah Hill kept that mask in a shoebox under her bed or something for like a year before they pulled it out to use it. And I guess she was a heavy smoker and smoked inside, so the mask suffered from smoke damage sitting under her bed. Yeah, so I didn't even really include that mask because it is the same as the OG one, but it was just treated so poorly. Mm-hmm. And upon reusing it, it was just ass. So I didn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, and the hair.
Yeah.
You get that scene where he's like blonde.
Oh God, it's terrible.
It's like, but they had that same problem in which one was it?
I think number 5 had the
H2O. Was it H2O where they had the pink mask?
I think that was 5.
Was that 5?
Yeah, because I just watched them all. In the school, in the elementary school. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just has a pink mask for no reason at all.
Hair. It was because they were tired as shit, and it was dark, and they sent someone back to go grab the mask, and whoever grabbed it just grabbed whatever and didn't even look at it, and they just went with it. Everybody was so exhausted they didn't care. Which shame on you guys. How dare you?
Yeah. Oh, who cares? This is part 5.
Yeah, weird. So my 5 worst ones, man. Obviously number 4, then number 5. But I gotta say, Halloween, Rob Zombies 2 is gotta be my number 3 worst mask. I hate how they show his eyeball or his face. Takes me out of it.
He's too exposed for you.
Yeah. Followed by Halloween Ends. It's gotta be one of my least favorite ones, just because at that point it is so burnt, and again it's that distressed look that I don't care for. It's not why Michael Myers was scary in the first one, and that's what it is for me, is I want it to feel like Michael Myers, and it just doesn't when he looks too damaged like that. Yeah, I would say Halloween Resurrection after that is not very good.
Yeah, Halloween Resurrection with those lines, there's too much definition in the face.
Yeah, and again, I was fighting with it at first because like some scenes it looks really good, but then most of it, it's like, this mask is dog shit. So That's our rank for it. Everybody has their own. Feel free to drop in the comments your ranking for your top 5 favorite masks, and even let us know what your least favorite mask is, and we're definitely interested to see. So
let us know below. All right, now we're gonna dive in to some blood-sucking madness. Top vampire movies. You want to kick it off? What you got?
Number 1 all-time favorite vampire movie, and it is probably the best vampire movie, period. And if you disagree, I'll beat you down in the parking lot behind Denny's. It is The Lost Boys. Come on now, The Lost Boys. Who doesn't love that movie?
Of course. I mean, you have to. You got the Frog Brothers. You got the sax player. The fucking soundtrack alone for that movie. What the fuck? The setting. You got fucking Corey Haim.
Corey Feldman, yeah.
Yeah, and Haim.
Was that the guy who wears the Hawaiian shirt?
Little brother, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, everything about that movie that he just said is amazing. Nothing misses about that movie. It's even funny. There's love. There's tension, horror. It has everything in it. There's the lighting even. I love the way it's lit up. And I hope they never touch that movie for a reboot, because I'd be pissed off if he tried to remake that movie, because you couldn't do it. It won't work. Can't.
Facts. You can't capture that again. That was pure 80s, and you could try all you want. I just don't think you could recapture that.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those.
For sure. Have you seen the sequels of that one?
No.
The Tribe?
I think I have. I think I probably have. They have Corey Feldman in them.
Yeah, Corey Feldman's the lead in them. They brought back Corey Haim, and I think the third one, if I'm not mistaken, maybe it's the second one, but yeah, it's pretty good. I think Corey Haim ends up becoming a vampire, is what it is.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. It must have been made before he died.
Yeah, because it was the actual actor, I believe. And then Corey the other Frog brother, I believe, died too. So that was Corey Feldman's whole thing is his brother's dead. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. I haven't seen him in like 4 years, but they didn't.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to rewatch them. Yeah, they didn't get much love from me either. And so I look at Lost Boys. There's a counterpart to Lost Boys that's never talked about enough that needs to be, that I think is right up there with Lost Boys. Now, it's not as cool of a set, and it's not as expansive in the terms of score, but it is so fucking good. It's Near Dark. Near Dark. Look the movie up, watch it. It is fucking awesome. It's about a goddamn caravan of gun-toting gangster outlaw vampires who, just drive around and eating people. And it's fucking sick, yo. It's an 80s film. Amazing.
I never heard of it. Never once have I heard of that movie.
You're missing out. Near Dark is so good. So good.
Shit. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to look that one up. That sounds pretty dope. Was that your number one?
Yeah, yep. Near Dark and then Lost Boys.
Is that, you said
that's
there's
personal preference, though.
You said there's some connection to the Lost Boys with that one, or?
No. I'm just saying that they were released around the same time. Lost Boys got all the credit, though. You know what I'm saying?
Rightfully so.
But Near Dark is like so Lost Boys is like the mainstream, and Near Dark's like the underground version of it.
Okay.
And Near Dark is just as fucking good, man. It has a cult following. A lot of horror fans out there, they know about it, and you probably been watching on Tubi. Shout out Tubi.
I love Tubi, man.
We need to get a Tubi sponsorship over here.
Yeah, when are they gonna sponsor us? We talk about
Tubi?
it like every episode. We be talking about Tubi. Come on, guys.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay, my number 2, Dusk Till Dawn.
All right.
I love that movie so much. I just love anything.
Rodriguez. I mean, you gotta,
yeah, anything by
Grindhouse. Let's go.
So it's great. The TV show less good, but the first movie is phenomenal.
Sequels,
and Tom Savini's in it. Our boy Tom Savini. Yeah, I love Savini so much. He was in. We'll talk about that later. With the review. Yeah. So Dusk Till Dawn. If you haven't seen Dusk Till Dawn, you need to go watch. It is one of the greatest vampire movies ever made. I won't say it's scary, but it is engaging, entertaining, and action-packed. It is an amazing movie. So, Enokh.
All right. We're going to take it to the 80s, right? This is my rank number 3. Vamp.
Vamp?
You ever seen it?
I don't think I have. I'm looking at my collection to see if there's any, see if I had it. But
3 homies in high school get a car and decide they're going to go downtown New York and go to this strip club. But what they don't realize is that the strip club in this ran down shady ass fucking bar is a cult of vampires, and the queen vampire is this black chick who has all this painting all over her body, right? She's wearing this red wig, and she seduces the boys and tries to eat them. And yeah, it's just great New York gritty 80s filmmaking, and I fucking love it. It's real campy. All takes place pretty much inside of this shady, nasty strip club or right outside in the alley. Fucking amazing movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. Vamp. V-A-M-P.
I need to be writing these down on my watch list because I like I said earlier, I am not a big vampire guy. I am a Wolfman dude, 100% all the way. So when it comes to vampire movies, I got like some of the most mainstream taste. I don't know the best underground ones. I know of a lot of them, but I just won't sit down and watch them. Like I got a lot.
Me too. Vampire movies aren't necessarily ones that I go and latch onto to watch, but Vamp and Near Dark, they separate themselves from those vampire movies just by including that gritty 80s filmmaking style that I love.
Yeah, you sold it really well, so those sound really good. Another one from me, and this is a mainstream one that most of you guys have probably seen, but that would be the most recent, well, maybe not the most recent, but Van Helsing, the early 2000s. Maybe it was like 2008 or
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, that movie is phenomenal, dude. I love that movie so much. Just everything about it. I think it's the best modern day representation of the Universal monsters. It's
Oh yeah,
so good.
yeah. Like as a kid watching that movie, I fucking loved it. I was sold, 100%.
I would like to see someone make another one, maybe even a sequel playing off of that one, or just a new Van Helsing movie in general. Because that one, I'm not as passionate about. Like, I'm not like gatekeeping it. Like, don't remake this fucking movie. I'd love to see Van Helsing and Dracula Wolfman movies get remade and
Yeah,
done
they should.
better.
They should definitely push more for the Universal Monster movie remakes. I'd sit down and watch them as long as they're made correctly.
Yeah, I gotta finish the last voyage of the Demeter. I just started it. I'm like 20 minutes in, and I am sold so far. I'm liking it, but I haven't really seen anything significant happen. They just got
It's
on the
alright.
ship. It seems like one of those movies would have been great in the theater.
It's one of them like Hammer film. You ever know Hammer films? It's kind of like that. It kind of has that kind of esque, like The Lust of Dracula. Those old Hammer movies.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what it has the esque of. Yeah. So last for me though, we're gonna cap it off with the all-time classic '80s movie, Fright Night. Fucking love Fright Night, yo.
I haven't finished it. I know it's a classic.
So now,
I know
Fright
it's a
Night
classic.
has some of the sickest transformations, special effects, story. I'm a sucker for 80s teenage mysteries. Like, oh, my neighbor's a vampire, and your homie's like, no way, bro. And they're like, we got to figure this out. Let's sneak into his house. And, fucking amazing, So good. So good.
Yeah, I got about halfway through it, and I know that's a classic movie, and I need to watch it. And how can I call myself a horror fan without having seen Fright Night? Just keep that in mind. Don't feel bad about yourself if you haven't seen certain movies. There's a lot of fucking horror movies out there. There's like probably 50,000 horror movies, probably more than that even. Who knows?
There's a lot, and majority come from the 80s, so you got a lot of catching up to do,
We got a whole lifetime, though. Whole lifetime to get through them all.
Give some honorable mentions to Salem's Lot.
Oh, yeah. Blade.
Yep,
That was on my
Fright Night 2.
Okay.
Fright Night 2, just because it's part 2 doesn't mean that it's not great, because it is fucking good.
What We Do in the Shadows, really good show. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen all the show. It's so funny.
Yes, and I watched the new Salem's Lot movie. Not bad. Maybe you guys check it out.
Yeah, I gotta say that I hate Salem's Lot. I can't watch it. I've tried it. Fucking hate it.
It's a slow burner.
Yeah, I hate certain. I can get into a slow burn if has certain things going for it, but that one just turned me off.
Oh my God! Hold on. I just had a brain blast. How could I forget? I'm moving this right into my tops. All right. I totally forgot about this until right now. What the hell's wrong with me? Stephen King's Night Flyer. I fucking love Stephen King's Night Flyer, where the fucking vampire has an airplane and he flies to airports with his coffin in the back and fucking eats people at airports and then continues flying his plane. That shit is sick. And if you watch the movie, that depiction of a vampire is fucking insane. His teeth are all fucking mangled and...
I'm just gonna let you know that doesn't sound like a good movie, but it's Stephen King, and you're saying it's good.
It is good. The detectives are chasing the serial killer, trying to find him, and all they have to go by is this all-black Cessna airplane, single engine, and yeah, it's fucking good. It's really good. So it's like a detective movie that becomes this like disturbing vampire psychological horror.
Night Flyer is what that's called?
Night Flyer. Yes, the Night Flyer. Check that shit out.
Okay, that one's an interesting one. I'll try to remember that one. Night Flyer. He's flying he's a bat. Why does he need an airplane?
Man, because he flies in luxury. What you talking about?
Yeah, that was pretty much it for me. Again, not a vampire guy, but there, for you vampire folk out there, this is where we stand on it. All right, it is time for the movie review. And today we're reviewing none other than Terrifier 3, the third one. Yeah, this fucking movie, man. We have said before that we do not like Christmas horror movies on the Raw and Rewind. Do not.
I'm sure that I've said I don't like the Terrifier movies. movies.
Yeah. But this movie, whoa, where did this shit come from, dude? Holy fuck, it's taken the horror community by storm right now. There's a lot to say about this fucking movie. Before we spoil anything, let's give a general consensus of where we stand on it. I'll let you.
All right. So going into this, I tried to watch Terrifier 1 and 2, and I always copped out before the diner scenes ever ended. I always got so bored of the diner scene, so I still haven't watched the first two, right? And I didn't like the camera they used in the first one at all. I don't know what it was about that camera. I just wasn't a fan of it. So I just passed on not watching it. I've attempted to like 3 times, and I always just go, and I figure out something else to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that it's like the DSLR vibe, but I think they were going for a vintage kind of slasher 80s feel without using cameras. And I kind of think they missed their mark on it. I don't hate it personally, but it is kind of jarring at times. It takes you out of the realism. It feels almost like an amateur film, the first one does, in my opinion. But the first one is salvaged by the kill scenes and the brutality of Art the Clown and the amount of character that he has, I think, is what carries those movies. It's definitely not the plot or the flow. You know, it's not the story of the movie. But coming into this third one now, it corrected everything that was wrong with the first two, I think is the best way to say that.
It made me... So yesterday I went and seen it. I was going to go watch Friday the 13th. But then I seen Terrifier 3 playing, and I said, why not? So, and I'll say this. It made me leave that theater and go, now I have to go watch the other two. I'm sold. That third one sold me and brought me to the side of supporting that series.
So have you finished the second one in its entirety?
Never finished either of the first or the second one.
Okay, so again, my problem with the first two is the pacing and the plot. They're a little confusing because the way that they do things, it's not a good way of telling a story. And it's almost like they're relying solely on the brutality of the murder aspect of those movies, because Art the Clown goes way over the top. That's like his whole gimmick, is not just killing you, but just fucking making a game of it and going way crazier than anybody should, you know? When you think he's done, he goes even farther. And then when you think he's finally done, he takes it another step farther and he just mutilates the bodies. So that kind of carries the movies. Now, that was my biggest issue with the first two, though, is that that's all there was. And while you're waiting for these things to happen, you're sitting there just like checking the time, checking your fucking phone, scrolling like, okay, something can happen now, because there's nothing going on between the kills that's really captivating me as an audience. You know?
And that's why I avoided it, because I have buddies and homies who watched it, and I just got that vibe from the movies. Okay, so this is just a schlock film where they just throwing let's just get to the next kill as fast as we can. Let's just get to the next kill. And that's just not it. You know, I don't like movies like that. I want to have a full rounded experience when I watch a film. You know, I want to be a part of it. I want to be in it. I want it to be submersive. I don't just want to sit there and just wait for the next kill. Because if that's something, I'll just go watch some of these extreme horror films. You know, like.
Exactly. You got to have some story in there to captivate people. You know, it's 2024. There's no excuse not to at least keep people engaged in your film. It's not that hard. It's where writing comes into play. And I'm not trying to talk shit about the guy who writes those movies. I think he's doing the horror community a justice for sure. But you got to put a little more thought into the story of your characters. And now going into the third one, I think he corrected a lot of it. I think the pacing was better. It didn't drag. It felt like there was always something to look forward to. Like, I had to take a piss halfway through the movie, and I couldn't get up to go because I was glued to the screen. I was like, what's gonna happen next, you know?
Me too. Them damn large soda pops they be selling. Bastards.
Yeah, so, and this one does still have the brutality, and I would say it even tops the first two in terms of brutality. You know, that's a hard thing to do. The bar was set pretty high from that second movie. So, with all that being said, I'm trying not to spoil too much here, so should we just get right into it?
Yep, let's just roll into the spoils.
Yep, all right. So I'll let you go off first.
Warning.
Yeah.
All right. So not knowing anything about the Terrifiers besides like what knowledge I have picked up along the way without watching the first two movies, I just went into it blind. And from the very beginning, I was like, okay, we're getting into the shock, you know, with the slaughtering of the family and whatnot. And they didn't have me sold. You know, I wasn't sold at that point yet.
Well, they opened up with the death of a child, though. That was the very first kill. Given they didn't show it, and I wish
they showed the aftermath, which was still pretty wow, you know. But before I get into what sold me, let's talk about. I was amazed at how much they were allowed to fucking show in that theater.
Yes,
that's what made me go, what the fuck is happening? Because every movie I've ever went to see, they have censored the fucking shit out of it. But this movie got the green light of just, I don't have an explanation for that.
And so here's the thing too. My buddy was telling me some little facts about this movie earlier. He was saying, let's see, he said that this movie had a $2 million budget, right? $2 million is what went into it. It made $20 million opening weekend, and it's getting a full theater run. The first movie, or the second movie, I think only played for one day in select theaters, but this one, full theater run, packed theaters. I went on Tuesday, a couple days ago here. That's like, what, 4 or 5 days after it released, and it was a packed theater. Like, we had to sit in the second row from the screen, which I absolutely hate doing because all the other seats were taken.
Me too.
And yeah, it was completely wall-to-wall packed in there. It was insane. The fact that, dude, my buddy told me it's the #1 movie in the country right now.
Oh, 100%. And you know what? And let me tell you that is a huge milestone for fucking horror. Because they have been censoring and cutting our fucking movies for too goddamn long. And I took my hat off and I said, finally, somebody with the balls to stand up to these fuckers and say, no, show this shit. This is what the people want. And it fucking worked, yo. I fucking loved it. The couple next to us, me and my homie stood up and walked out of the theater when she had that piece of glass. They stood up and left. And I said, I've never seen that happen in my fucking life. Have I seen somebody get up and say, I don't want to watch this anymore, and leave the theater? And I sat back and I said, oh my fucking God, what?
I'm hoping with how successful this movie was and all of its unrated glory, that it sets a precedent going forward that they can show unrated horror movies in theaters. Let's pray that's what happens.
That's what needs to happen. That is, you know, I think they're realizing that the whole satanic panic of the 80s and the mothers against horrors of the 90s and all that shit, that's kind of out the window now. You know what I'm saying? Because the kids who are raised on horror are now the parents, are now, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we want that. You know, just give it to us. Stop trying to tell us what we can watch. We're grown adults. If we're paying to see a movie, I want to see the whole movie. Not what you people in your little suits and ties think is correct for me to view.
Exactly. The other cool thing about Terrifier is it's almost like we're witnessing history in the making, which feels rare in the horror community. It feels rare in general, but it's like we're seeing this new slasher legend coming to fruition. You know, he's proving himself, you know, year by year, rising to the top of the ranks as a legendary slasher. You know, I would put him in the B tier slasher list. Now.
You know, I think the last one who came out like that is Victor Crowley from Hatchet. And then before that, I would go Candyman in the 90s.
Well,
you know?
I would say Sam from Trick or Treat. I'd count him as a little slasher. He'd be slashing. He's not just in that movie. He
didn't spawn sequels.
No, but he
wasn't the main star through the whole movie, was he?
No, but here's the thing about Sam. He has a history that goes further than just that movie. He's been around since the 90s, I believe. He's been a character, and he was in like an animated thing, like a short Halloween animated thing. He had like a short thing of him killing a bunch of little kids, like outside of like by a bus stop in the fall. And then he got the movie where he was like, he was in every single story in the anthology.
I'll give you a little bit of credit there. I think that to be a legacy character, though, you have to have sequels.
he's getting a sequel soon. They are working on a Trick or Treat too, is what the big rumor has been for a few years now. I can only imagine.
And see, if Trick or Treat was smart, they would make the main focus Sam for the whole entirety of it. Not another anthology, but give us just a standalone Sam film.
And he's popular off of just one movie. He's gained a lot of popularity.
Saying.
Even
so that would be the way to go.
And this is like 15 years after Trick or Treat. Like that movie came out in 2007, which blows my effing mind. That movie looks so good for 2007, and it doesn't even feel like it feels like it came out maybe 2016 or 17. And so he's already like well over 15 years old. It's like he deserves a sequel. The fact that he's as popular now as he was even at he's more popular now than when the movie came out by far. He's all over Spirit Halloween. He deserves a
same thing with Art. You know, Art is like you just said. I think this is the beginning of the legacy of him. Hopefully, it doesn't go the route that all of our favorites have gone down. You know, with Jason and Michael Myers, and you get those movies in the middle that just aren't right. You know,
and then they throw him in space.
But I think because I don't see the guy who created it letting it go anytime soon. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that it's going to be another director. I don't think it's going to be...
With Terrifier you're talking about?
Yeah, I think, it's going to be just like Hatchet and with Adam West, and he's going to hold on to it, and he's going to do them all. Which I love when that happens, because then we get what should be, Yeah.
It's
have different interpretations.
So getting back into Terrifier 3, we got a little bit off track there. I gotta say right off the bat, this is the best one in my opinion. It is way better than the first two movies, and I would say that this is now my favorite Christmas horror movie. Probably one of the best Christmas horror movies. Definitely the best Christmas slasher flick that's ever.
Yeah. I had a fucking blast. Me and my buddy watched it, and we were laughing. We were dying. It was so good when that little kid said, "I wonder what I got," and he lifted that box, and it was a bomb. Oh my god, dude, get out of here.
Yeah,
fucking
that shit
awesome.
had me laughing. That shit had me laughing. It had me clapping. Dude, I wanted to give it a standing ovation.
The fucking set designs I fucking loved, especially in that old abandoned house when those two workers go in and she's sitting in that bathtub and it looks like that water's been sitting for 5 years.
That is what, okay, so I like Evil Dead Rise, but that is what the Deadites should have looked like. They should have looked like how she looked in that bathtub.
Yeah, that was horrifying. Yo.
Yeah.
She stole the show. I loved her whole energy. That just like weird, like that shit was sick.
And she's in all of them. I need to rewatch the fucking. I need to watch like a breakdown video that explains the lore of Terrifier, because it's all lost on me, and maybe that's why I'm so hard on the story, is because it's not super coherent.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it's like Art is like the Antichrist, right? In that, so in the first one he blows his own brains out. And then he is resurrected by that little girl clown who you see him clapping hands with in the second one. And that is like the devil, that little girl. And that's like the possession of what that girl is in the second or something. I don't know. But that's kind of like the theory behind all of that, like how he keeps being resurrected or whatnot. And yeah,
it is confusing because I don't understand why his counterpart in the third one starts looking like him at the end of it. I don't understand why it's like now we got two Art the Clowns. You know what I mean?
No. So yeah, Art the Clown's like works for her. You know what I'm saying? Art the Clown is like she's like the devil.
Gotcha.
And yeah, Art the Clown is like works for the Antichrist.
I thought she was a victim in the first one. I thought she was a victim that survived.
She was. But she got possessed. She got possessed by that little girl demon who was playing patty cake with him.
In the second one.
But
she was in the first one, so that was like, is the second one a precursor?
That's why she was trying to possess that girl at the end of the third one.
Yeah, see, it gets lost on me. I think the movies would benefit from not being so confusing.
I ain't seen the first two, so I'm just going off of secondhand knowledge from homies who have seen it and their theories on it.
I think it's one of those things where once you
watch them tonight.
Once you do know, I think it'll make sense to you when you figure it out. Then you'll be like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome, badass. But if you're like me and you're in the dark and you're like, I don't get it, I can't connect the dots, then it's like, the movie loses a little bit because of that, you know. But once I figure it out, I'm sure I'll have more appreciation for it. So at least hopefully is the idea.
I love the kills. The chainsaw in the ass.
Yes, let's talk about the kills. The chainsaw.
Amazing. Let's fucking go.
Scrotum, chopped up his scrotum and his balls.
And they showed that?
All of it.
That's where I was like, what the fuck? Is this the Twilight Zone? I was so fucking like, yeah, what?
Yeah. Megan can't even show a freaking blade coming through someone's chest. But then you showed... Fuck, dude.
See, there are things about this movie. I wish that there was like that girl who wanted to see art so bad. You know, the girl who ran the podcast. I wish that there was some interaction between them. Besides her just catching a chainsaw directly. Just like, she, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that would have made it really...
Kind of got... We got an informal one when she was talking about him and he's in the hallway. And she's like, no, I don't want to fuck him. And his face is like...
Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, that... I just wish, like... And when he's, like, looking into her eyes, you know? Like, that... I just wish there was some dialogue there before the fucking death, you know? That would have been way, way cooler. Right after he chopped dude's leg and he stepped on it, that was incredible. Mind you, when the leg just snapped back, I was like, oh, yeah, like an ostrich leg.
Or how about the Santa Claus scene where he hits him with the liquid nitrogen and fucking bashes his fucking hands and shit?
That's
I feel like
great.
I love that scene, but they didn't show as much of his... So they did something when he got him in the face with it, but then they don't show his face being all frozen until the very second that he hits him with the hammer, and then it kind of cuts to his face really quick. I wish they would have shown his face a second before.
Yeah, that bar scene I love because it has the ice cream man in it. The guy who told those girls, I'd fuck you.
Oh, what?
You ever seen the old horror movie Ice Cream Man? I know a lot of you probably have.
I swear to God, I have. That sounds real familiar.
He chops up kids and puts them in the ice cream.
I've seen the movie. I'm just trying to...
Yeah, that's him.
Which guy? The Santa guy or the guy next to him?
The guy next to him. The guy, Santa Claus' friend who got shot right in the forehead.
That guy was pretty funny. I liked him.
Yep. He's awesome. Also, Chris Jericho was in there. Did you see that Chris Jericho was a security guard when he finds the head eating that body, eating the neck?
Oh, shit. I didn't even catch that.
A security guard who gets choked out and his face ripped off. Yep, Chris Jericho.
I will say that this movie, it satisfied every horror urge. Like, there was, like, when I watch a horror movie and I see how things are going, I tend in my head to do this thing where I'm like, okay, they better do this next. If they don't do this thing next, I'm gonna fucking take points off and write this movie off. This movie, every single thing that I was like, they better fucking do it, they better go there, they fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like, a good example, I was like, he better, like, cut that beard off of Santa's face and fucking wear it on his own. And for a second, I was like, oh, he's not going to do it. He's hitting him with the liquid nitrogen instead. But then he still pulls the beard off and puts it on. So I was like, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Full satisfaction.
100%. You know, there was a couple of unanswered questions there, like the brother. I don't think the brother's actually dead in that movie. I think that was just another ploy of him to get that girl to kind of...
That was the thing, because if it was the brother, I would want to see that. I need to see...
I don't think they would kill off a main character that easy, like...
And not show it.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen. So I think definitely the part 4 is coming, you know. Also, a little tidbit, if you guys know anything about the series, you know, Terrifier showed up in All Hallows Eve, which is a newer version of short films that he had done called The Ninth Circle. And inside, at the very last scene, the book that girl is reading on the bus is The Ninth Circle. So, little tidbit, little Easter egg they put in there.
I know of The Ninth Circle. I've seen the cover art, but I've never watched it. I have seen All Hallows Eve, and God, Terrifier, Art the Clown looks fucking terrible in that movie.
he looks worse in Ninth Circle.
Yeah. Really? Oh, God. Is Night Circle worth watching, or probably not?
Never watched any of them, but, you know, I like to look up stuff, so I had to do some diving last night after I watched that third one and said, hold on, because I seen that book, and I was like, why'd they show that book?
Oh,
it has to be something.
We're forgetting about one of the gnarliest things that I've ever seen, when he fucking puts the wait, am I thinking of the right movie?
when he puts the hose down her throat and then does the Fast and the Furious and puts the rats in the torch.
Okay, I was just making sure that was the right movie. I just watched Mr. Crockett last night, and that had some shit in it, so I was making sure I wasn't crisscrossing. Yeah, so when he puts the fucking rats in the tube and then it cuts her neck and then they all just pour out her neck, that shit was vile, dude. Fucking points for that shit, man. I love shit like that. It is like, you don't see that very often. So when you do, you just have an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
There was multiple times in that movie where I just had to actually just audibly clap, and I was the only person in the audience clap.
That's where I was, bro. That's where I was too, 100%. I had to fight the urge to do it because I was like, yeah. The lead actress, though, I don't know if she sells it for me as much, you know.
I hate the actors. I don't care for any of the actors in the movie because the third one continues the second one with their story. That's kind of what it's doing, is it's wrapping up the loose ends from the previous, and it was a bad story to begin with, and they just made it more stupid and confusing. Given the stuff with her dad drawing the comic for her, the character was kind of cool. I think that justified her costume in the previous one, but yeah, I'm hoping the next one has like fresh characters. Obviously, they're gonna wrap up stuff with the brother if he really is alive. But
and we'll see if Sienna goes down to hell to retrieve Gabby, her little cousin.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that fucking movie. I didn't tell you, dude. They did something to us in that theater that I've never had happen in a movie theater. About 10 minutes into the movie, it was right in the beginning when he pulls open the cupboard and he finds the girl in the cupboard. Remember, she was hiding? At that very moment, the screen went black. And we're all sitting there for like 40 seconds like, what the hell's going on? Then the lights flicked on. The usher or the movie theater staff comes in and he's like, sorry, we had to pause the movie. We have to figure out some seating problems, blah, blah, blah. Apparently somebody was sitting in the wrong seat. And this is a theater where you have to pick the seat you sit in, you know?
Oh, yeah. All theaters are like that now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And yeah, they stopped the movie for a good like 10 minutes. And we're all just sitting there like, fuck this shit. Never seen that happen before.
Yeah, people pay for a movie ticket and then you go to sit down and someone's in your seat. I mean, I 100% understand. And then they refuse to move. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't be those people.
Yeah,
don't be
assholes.
those people.
Yeah. But there you go. There's our review of Terrifier 3. If you've gotten this far, odds are you've already seen it. If not, you just got it spoiled. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, even with our spoil, you'll still be like, yo. So don't worry. It's still very pleasurable.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that will wrap it up for episode 7 of the Rotten Rewind podcast.
And so it's so sad that we have to go. But it's the way that it is. So, yeah, episode number 7. It was a fun one. Halloween, guys. It is the best time of the year. We hope you guys have a great Halloween. We know that we are enjoying it. We're watching all of our favorite movies. I got a Halloween party to go to in 2 days. So, yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
From us to you guys, happy Halloween to our friends, our family, and everybody out there watching. We love you.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Rotten Rewind episode number 7. We'll see you guys next time.